Hey, what's up, Noah? Quick demo video for you for your At Stars End Luke V2. This is probably one of my favorite Luke sabers. It's very cool, just very cool aesthetically. It's a joy to install as well. This is installed with a Proffie. It's a 2-button setup, and I've got your switches under the clamp card here. So your front switch, that will be your power, and your back switch over here, that will be your auxiliary. All right, you've got a Carl Chen PCB in here for your Neopixel connector. I did go with the lowest PCB holder that I could make so that I could give you plenty of blade depth. Although there's not a terrible amount of blade depth, this is a very tight blade socket. It holds a 7/8 inch blade, so I'll show you that here in a second. There's a couple different parts to this saber, okay? First of all, if you want to get to the board, what you want to do is come over here and loosen the scrub screw right here. This is what holds on your pommel. All right, so we'll loosen this. If you loosen it just a little bit, then you can actually turn this guy and you can clock it how you want and lock it down. But if you want to take it off, loosen it just a little bit more, and this comes off. And I put a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker in here. So this speaker pod stays in this pommel, and it sounds very good. All right, so it's a fully enclosed speaker, stays in there. When you take that off, there is your chassis. So you've got, easy access to your SD card and your micro USB and everything from right there. If you don't want to get to your board and make any changes, though, you should never even have to take this off. I did get the 5 fonts on there that you sent me, and we'll go over all of them, right? We'll cycle through them so that you can see that they work. There's a Luke on there, actually the Return from Kyberphonic. There's 2 different bends, a Darth Vader, and then the Hand of the Emperor as well is on there. All right, I made this a removable battery. So what you want to do is unscrew the neck. All right, so we'll the grenade section. We'll unscrew the grenade section, take this off. You got a blade side PCB in there that never comes out. All right, so that makes contact with this 7-pin PCB system right here. If it'll focus. So yeah, 7-pin PCB system right there. This is your chassis. Put some greeblies on here. This is the same chassis I kind of used for the new Mando Luke saber that ASE put out recently. Even though the sabers look different on the outside, a lot of their internal machining is the same, so I was able to just modify that chassis to fit in here, and it worked out very well. So you've got some greebly work here, some greebly work over here, a removable battery setup, all the wires are hidden, and of course your spring side is in there. All right, so we'll go ahead and throw a battery in this guy.
I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and friend to Captain Solo.
This saber is super loud. All right, so when you throw the battery in there, just go ahead and put this on and screw this all the way down. Once this is locked in place, it's ready to go. You can come over here and hit power. Super loud. Auxiliary is right here. And I gave you twist off. All right. Although you do have a blade retention, you've actually got 2 of them. You got one here, and then 180 degrees. You have one more. I'm not going to use them because the blade is so tight in here. I'm just going to kind of put it in here. If you have a blade, you're probably going to want to do some sanding. I'm going to turn the saber on real quick so I know when I hit the pins. Typically, if this was my saber and this was the blade I was going to use with this saber, I would sand it down just a hair. But because I need this for different demos, I sometimes like to come over here and turn the saber on as I'm putting the blade in, so I know when I hit those pins and I don't stress out the PCB, right? So as soon as the blade lights up, I can stop pushing on it. But anyway, it holds the blade very well in there. I don't even have to use the blade retention screws. Turn it on. Blaster bolt deflex is just tapping the aux. Blade lockup is holding it down and hitting the saber. You see it right here. of your sound fonts have a soundtrack, and that's a long press on the power when the saber's off. You can ignite the saber when the soundtrack's playing. Right. And then another long press to turn it off. Just like that. And then just hit auxiliary to go to the next sound font.
Hello there.
Whoops.
It's just Ben these days. Where is he?
The Emperor's Hand.
Your fifth and final sound font is the Emperor's Hand. Purple blade. Turn that off and take the blade out. So yeah, everything's working on here exactly like it should. A very solid saber when it's all put together. Whenever you're putting the blade in or taking it out, if it's tight, always turn it to the right. This guy is threaded on the top emitter piece. I didn't lock it down or anything. You already had a piece of gaffer tape over it, so I left it alone. Try to hand crank it tight so it wouldn't go anywhere. But if you do have a tight blade in there and you turn it to the left, it'll loosen it. So just be mindful of that. When you're all done, you can just simply come over here and unscrew the grenade. Comes off very easily, and then you should be able to take your finger from the positive side over here and pop the battery out just like that. All right, and that's basically your Luke V2. Let me know if you got any questions, and my plan is to package this up and I can get it out in the mail to you first thing Monday morning. Okay? Thanks, man.